Hi there, my name is Tech Chick, and I'm going to go over what I do to apply for jobs today in this crazy job market. I have been in the technology industry for 25 years, and I literally have been really looking hard for another job for the last 2 months. And I've managed to get three job interviews during that time. So it sounds like I need to work on the interview process, but I'm hoping that the process that I've come up with for looking for a job will help you. So my job process or my editing of my resume, my skills, cover letter, all of that, I customize that through ChatGPT. I figure if companies are going to use ChatGPT to go through resumes, then I'm going to use ChatGPT to modify my resume and send it through their process. So this is a process I've come up with. It takes a good 5 to 15 minutes to go through the process. So if it's a job you really want, I'd recommend going through this process. Again, I've been lucky and I think I've had 3 to 4 interviews so far, which is good in the last 2 months. I'm hearing some people aren't even getting an interview. They're putting their resume out there. It's crazy times. So I'm just putting this process out there in hopes that it can help somebody else find a job. Because I know it really stinks when you're not happy at the job that you're working at. We all want to be happy and feel like we're accomplishing something. And that's hard to do when you're not happy at the current job that you're in. So I hope this process helps you out and let's get started. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And then on my screen, I just want to make sure I'm seeing what you're seeing. Yes. So you should be seeing my resume here. This is a mocked up resume just for this example. And on my resume, I have my contact information, executive summary, which pretty much is a 1 paragraph summary of all of my experience at all of the jobs that I've held for me for the last 25 years. And my resume is only 2 pages long. I've got a list of skills here on the side. I've got my title, the place I work, the date, range, in years, and the location, along with a paragraph that describes what I'm currently doing in that role or what I did do in that role. And I also include 4 major bullet points or metrics. Those metrics should be things like increased mobile app scores by 46%, increased digital enrollment by 40%, managed and developed up 80% of a high performing team, decreased operating expenses by 67%. So if you're a developer and you're in a developer group of, let's say, 3 developers, one metric you could put is develop 33% of code base because you're 1/3 of that team, right? So sometimes you have to get creative with the metrics that you come up with. But I think as long as you're honest and true, you can't go wrong, right? You want to put your major achievements and you want to express those achievements in a metric that is easy for people to understand. Excuse me. So again, I use percentages because I think that's pretty clear. Increasing the mobile app scores by 46%. I think anyone can say that's an accomplishment, right? So you want to do the same thing. And honestly, in some of the other jobs that I've had, it was a little tougher to come up with some metrics. So I think a good example of that, like in my developer position, let me find it and see what I came up with. Here it is. So in my developer position, we had to move our on-premise systems to a SaaS environment. So basically what we did is all the customers that had on-premise servers supporting their application, we moved them to a service or software as a service solution. And so they no longer needed their own hardware. We hosted the hardware that was running their application. So what I did with my metrics here is I said I decreased the on-premise systems by 95%. which is true. It was more like 100%, but I wanted it to be more realistic. So I decreased that percentage. I increased the SaaS systems by 95%, which is true. Decreased customizations by probably about 95% as well, but I put 65% because I couldn't remember exactly how many customers we let keep their customizations, and increased technical training and knowledge by 55%. I also trained the other support engineers. So these were the metrics that I came up with for that role. So once you have a basic resume that you can start with, I have a ChatGPT questions doc because I'm lazy and I don't like to type. So this is the first step that I take. I copy this question over to ChatGPT and I have everything up here. Paste this question into ChatGPT, create an executive summary for a resume with this data. So what we're doing is we're asking ChatGPT to create a custom executive summary for our resume that we already have. The difference is that I'm asking it to use the job description for my executive summary so it looks like I'm more qualified for that job that I'm applying for. So I come over here and I've already highlighted the job description that I want to apply for. We're going to copy this and go back to ChatGPT, and then we're going to copy that after our question to create a custom executive summary. Let ChatGPT chew on that for a minute. And bam, there we go. Our custom executive summary for our resume. Now, this summary is again based off the job description that we're applying for. So you're going to want to go back to your resume. You're going to want to highlight this, paste our new executive resume, or I'm sorry, our new executive summary. It's been a long day. And you're also going to want to read through this to make sure that ChatGPT hasn't included anything that's not true, because we've asked it to create this based on the job description. So if it does include skills that you don't have, take those skills out or replace them with the skill you do have. That's what I would recommend. So I'm going to read through this real quick. Make sure that it sounds correct. And I just also want to make sure that I have actually done everything that says I've done in this executive resume. Or I'm sorry, I keep saying resume. This executive summary. So far, so good. It sounds good. It looks good. Everything looks correct. So I'm going to roll with it. Looks good. So the next step that I take is I go back to my ChatGPT questions. And now I'm going to ask it for a list of skills using that job description that I'm going to apply for. That way we get a custom list of skills for our resume. And I'm saying use the same data I used before. So it knows that I'm talking about the job description that I posted in there previously. And so what ChatGPT has returned is technical skills along with program and project management skills, leadership skills. So the tech skills, I have a section on my resume for that, and I'll save that for that section of my resume, but I'm going to start with this area here. So what I do is I copy and paste this into my resume. I have a whole skills section here. And so my resume is created with tables. And so I have to be really careful with the formatting. So I need to make sure that you don't want to highlight the bullets. If you have this same resume layout, you don't want to highlight the bullets. You just want to highlight the text. So we're going to replace that. And then we're going to fix these up. It always puts these weird question mark bullets in there. I don't know why. Oops. We just wipe something else out. Okay, that looks good. Just making sure I didn't wipe anything else out. Now, when you get this process down, this process normally takes 5 to 10 minutes, up to maybe 15 minutes, depending on how much work you got to do. But But once you get the hang of this process, again, it's only like 5 to 15 minutes per job that you're applying for. So keep that in mind. You probably only want to go through this process for the jobs that you really want. And then we need to fill it up with some, I'm going to steal this one. We need to fill up the skills because we're a little shy. So we're going to put this one here. Maybe two more, maybe two more. I say maybe. Don't know if it's all going to fit. So let's just take a look at what we got here. There we go. I really like this one. Let's grab that. Okay. I think that's probably pushing it. Okay, we could probably fit one word one or one line one in there. So let's go back and look. Maybe this. Let's go with strategic thinking. We're going to copy that over into our resume. Perfect. All right, now we're going to go copy the tech skills. Scroll up. We're going to copy all these guys into the resume. It's going to bump us down. Yeah, I knew it. Okay, that's okay. So we're going to fix these up. Oh, it already did. Wow, that's a first. But this is going too far. We want to keep our resume to 2 pages, and that just put us at 3. So I'm looking for technology stuff here, not like the playing skills. But if you scroll back here and you see one that's kind of technical, you could stick it in there, right? I honestly don't think this is all going to fit, but sure. Let's say delivery excellence and QA instead of quality assurance. Because I know that whole thing is not going to fit. Okay. Yeah, I was right. So what if we just say QA and we get rid of this? I don't know if this is going to work. All right. So it bumped our thing down again. So let me do this. Let me go back. It's got to be a one line thing. There. Perfect. Okay. We got in there. It's should be, oh my goodness gracious. Did it again. All right. Well, you know what? We're not going to do it then. I thought I was being sly, but I'm not being sly at all. It keeps jumping down to 3. All right. Nope, no more. That's it. That's all she wrote. And that's fine. So so the next step you want to do is you want to save out your resume. That's the next thing that you want to do. Make sure you save out the resume. And then the third step is going to be create a cover letter with the same information. So I'm going to go over here, ChatGPT, create me a custom cover letter. So not all jobs, amazingly, when you apply for a job, not all of them ask for a cover letter, but I try to include a cover letter. I already have a cover letter up. I'm just copying the main text part of the cover letter because I already have one. So I'm going to go to my cover letter here. All this has already been pre-filled to make this example easier. So make sure you change it to today's date. Make sure you list the company that's posting the job here. So if we go back to our job posting, you'll see that the job is with Atlassian. So we want to make sure that's all up to date. Now we're going to highlight the main body of the cover letter here. And we're going to paste our new stuff in there. And again, you want to go through this because look, it's looking for the job title that you're applying for, which I believe Principal Enterprise Delivery Manager. Okay, so let's go back and say Principal Enterprise delivery manager, I think it was, at Alaska. And then you want to read through this to make sure nothing's incorrect. No, no, no fake information about you. Everything here, you want to make sure it's true. There's no exaggerated skills. If you've done everything that it's saying that you've done, uh, then that's fine. But make sure you read over it. Make sure there's no skills in there that you don't have. If there is, again, you'll want to take them out or replace them with skills you do have. So I'm reading through this to make sure, because again, we're creating a cover letter based off the job description, not our resume. So you want to make sure that the skills listed in here are skills that you have and that they align with the job that you're trying to apply for without telling the hiring manager false information, right? We don't want to say we have skills that we don't have. So I'm reading through this to make sure it sounds correct. Yes, and I do. I've done all of this. So I am comfortable with everything that this says so far. And then sometimes too, at the end, it will say, I welcome the opportunity to talk with the Atlassian team or something. So you want to read through it and make sure everything looks good. And it does. And then again, you'll want to save this out. And then when you're applying for the job, one of the things that you'll come across is even though you're providing them a resume that usually has your job history on it, they want you to enter in your job history manually on their application. So one of the things that I've come up with to help me do that, this allows me to just copy and paste. So what I've done again here is it's my work experience for my resume. I've got my title, the place that I worked, the location, and the starting date. So this is my current job, right? This is where I'm working at now. And so you can copy and paste all of this into the job history that the application is asking you for. Again, that alone takes a good 5 minutes just to do. So once you've gone through the process and you apply for the job, it's a good 15 to 20 minutes. So again, I usually only use this process for jobs that I really want or that I think I can really get because I'm really qualified for them. So I would copy and paste all of this. So when it asks for your job history, you can copy and paste all of this into the job history that they're asking for. Be careful because sometimes when it asks for a date range, they want days, which I think is absolutely absurd. How many of you actually remember the day that you started, 10, 15 years ago at some other job? Yeah, I don't remember that. So I try to give the best day that I can, but if you remember that, if you remember the month, date, and day and year, I would recommend putting the entire date in there. So, like for here, for example, June 6th, 2017 to April 27th, 2020. So if you have that information, put it in there. It 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 won't hurt, but I can tell you most jobs are just asking for the month and year. So I hope this was helpful. As you can see, I have a one-page summary. It's very similar to what I got on my resume. I got a one paragraph summary of what I do, my achievements and bullet points. And then since they're asking for my job history, I also list out all the responsibilities, like a bullet pointed list here. So I would post all of this in there since they're asking for it again. And that's what I do. This helps save me time and gets me through that application process. So I hope that what I've shared with you today was helpful and will help you get your next job that you're looking for. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Take care. Bye, everybody.